Sports Minute. I'm Travis Smith, and I'm joined by the lovely Karli Brown. Karli, how did the women's basketball team look last night?
Well, Travis, the TexAnn's bid for their second straight home upset of a ranked opponent came up just short Wednesday night in Wisdom Gym. In an instant classic, Tarleton State fell to number 10 West Texas A&M 87-86 in overtime. Fast forward to late in the second half, Kathy Thomas scored 5 quick points and the Lady Buffs trailed by 3 with 10 seconds to play. Madison McLean's prayer from beyond the arc was answered 6 seconds later. Her triple tied the game at 72 and sent the LSC showdown into overtime. The TexAnns looked for the same result late in overtime, but the 3 by Bailey Whip with 2 seconds left rimmed out and the upset fell short. Kathy Thomas led all scorers with 24 points. Brianna Fuller had a career-high 19 points and 9 rebounds. Ibaku Iobi had 12 points and Whip chipped in 10. Morgan Ashmore had a game-high 5 assists. Ashmore's assist moved her into the 12th place on TexAnn's all-time assist list with 221 career assists and counting. Kathy Thomas also crossed the 500 career points plateau. Travis met with senior forward Karli Mora and junior guard Raven McGrath earlier today.
Coming from a semi-small high school in Grandview and only having 5 starts before this season, you have now started 10 of the last 11 games, including all of the LSC contests. You have also set new career highs in points with 19 against Angelo State and rebounds with 8 against Texas A&M Kingsville, and you're quickly becoming a leader on the court. Were your first 2 years just a learning curve for you, and do you think you are ready to continue with your bigger role with the TexAnns?
Yeah, I for sure think that your first 2 years, your first year especially, playing any college sport is kind of a learning year. You know, it's not common that a freshman will play, even sophomores usually. But so I think for sure it was a learning experience getting into the college basketball from high school basketball because it's quicker. You know, everyone's good rather than just having a few players who are good. So there was definitely a transition from one to the other. But I think I've come into the role a little bit smoother this year, and I'm more ready.
Karli, while you've seen big minutes in past seasons, you are one of only 3 TexAnns to start every game this season. How has knowing that you are going to be in the lineup every night help with your confidence?
Well, one thing that Coach always tells us is that our spots aren't certain, but having been able to start every single game really does give you confidence in knowing that you can help the team, but really our confidence comes from our teammates. Just every day, whether you have a good practice or a bad practice, encouraging you no matter what. Every game, no matter what the circumstances, and we're just happy for each other. When they do good, no one's mad because I've started every game, different things like that. It all comes from within the team and the coaches and just giving you confidence every single day no matter how you play.
Okay, so you both fouled out late in the game last night, in the almost second straight home defeat of a ranked team. Was that because the game was more physical than in the beginning of the year? And do you think that the physicality is the strongest point of y'all's team?
Yeah, I think the physicality of the game kind of led to us fouling out, you know, and towards the end of the game, when it's a close game, sometimes the only option is to foul. And so in that game, it just came down to, for me, it for sure came down to we had to foul, we had to get them to shoot a free throw in the possibility that they will miss and we can go make another shot. With Karli, you know, there's always going to be some bad calls, some off calls. You
like the charge.
just have to, yeah, the charge. We kind of just have to play through it.
I mean, I wish that they would have called it a charge, but I had stupid fouls at the beginning of the game. I fouled 94 feet away from the basket, which should never happen. So, with that being said, one, be smarter with our fouls, but like Raven said, there's games, you know, you play in overtime where you're going to foul out, and you play that extra 5 minutes. It's hard sometimes. Whenever you need a foul, you're trying to get a charge to get a defensive stop that you're going to foul out. And I wish we could have finished the game, but I guess it's just all part of it.
The number 15 Tarleton State Texans outscored the West Texas A&M Buffs late in the second half to notch another Lone Star Conference victory. Tayshawn Mabry scored 9 straight Texan points with less than 4 minutes to play and added another 14 to lead the Texans with 23 points and 8 boards. When asked about his performance, an exhausted Mabry said, "I just do whatever I have to do for my team. I thrive in situations like that. Big-time games, crunch-time plays. I thrive for that. I just like to show my ability as a player. I work hard on different things like that to come out here and showcase it. Mo Lee and Michael Hartz continue their stellar play with 20 points and 14 points respectively. The Texans shot 53% from the field and out-rebounded the Buffs 28-18 on the defensive glass. The Buffs entered the game without a single forward or center on their roster, and their tallest player checked in at 6 foot 6 inches. That did not prevent WT from outscoring TSU 32-26 in the paint and out-rebounded the Texans 15-6 on the offensive end. Tarleton State continued to play stellar defense, holding West Texas to 39% shooting from the field and forced 11 turnovers.
The TexAnn and Texans will both travel to Portales, New Mexico for a doubleheader at LSC basketball on Saturday at Greyhound Arena. The women are set to tip off first at 3 p.m. with the men following at 5. TSU Track and Field returned to action last week and competing in the bubble at Texas Tech University. This was the first indoor meet of the season, and Tarleton State athletes did not disappoint. They set 6 new school records, 3 NCAA provisional marks, and had multiple automatic qualifiers. Chase Rathke was one of those automatic qualifiers. The defending national champion in the outdoors men 1500 meter set a new school record in the indoor 1500 meter and currently sits just 0.77 seconds behind the fastest time in the nation.
2 words, Harley. Euphema Edom. The newest member of the TSU track team burst onto the scene in Lubbock. She set school records in the long and triple jumps, and both jumps ended in her automatically qualifying for the national championships in March. The men's and women's 4x4 also had strong showings. Deaja Hicks-Boyce, Shelby Greenwald, Leslie Zupanik, and Jasmine Owens made up the women's team and finished 10th. The men's team consisted of Cameron Kirk, Philip Hayes, Blake Eschbach, and Marquise Thompson placed 5th. Harley sat down with Coach Pat Ponder and defending National Champion Chase Rathke this afternoon.
Coach Ponder,
Yes,
what characteristics allow Euphemia Edom to be so successful in her jumps, as she's currently ranked 2nd in the nation in triple jump and 5th in long jump?
Well, work ethic, that's the first thing that comes to mind, and the fact that she comes to work every day with a desire to get better, and she has a very diligent focus. And I think those 2 combinations with the fact that she has experience, being a grad student and also being a competitor to the national championships last year, she understands what it's going to take to be a national champion this year. All right, awesome. Do we even have a sand pit long enough on campus to contain her? We do. We actually have 2 that can contain her, but she could probably find a way to get over.
All right. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Chase, congratulations on setting the new school record in the mile. What did you do to prepare differently to shatter the school record at this meet?
We haven't done anything different, just gone about our business the same way and just prepared like we have the past couple of years, just gone easy right now since it's still early in the season and then get ready for outdoor. So we'll just see what happens the rest of the year, though. All right, awesome. Well, Coach Ponder, with so much early success by breaking 6 school records at the Texas Tech Open, how do you plan to keep improving? Well, that's up to the athletes, staying healthy, and Coach Hobbs and I kind of set at the beginning of the season what we expect out of our athletes, kind of have a little blueprint going, and basically just keeping the kids going in the right direction. As long as they stay healthy, as long as they're taking care of business, as long as they come to the track with a willingness to get better, then we're going to be just fine. And I think that's what it's all about, is making sure the athletes are doing what they need to do on and off the track, and taking care of their business, and I think we'll be fine. All right, awesome. Well, Chase, how long have you been running long distance? Since my freshman year in high school. Freshman year in high school, and where'd you go to high school at? Crawford, right next to Waco. And that's where George W. Bush is from, and you've never ran into George W. Bush? Never ran into him. That's unfortunate. I know. All right, well, Coach Ponder, 3 freshman girls had top 10 finishes in high jump, and I know you're not exactly the high jump coach, but I'm going to go ahead and ask anyway. How do you prepare for them? Or how do you prepare them for their first college meet and allow them to maintain composure? Harley, that's one of those questions that you look at it and say, well, first and foremost, you got to keep them focused and keep their nerves down. Keep them in check and make sure they understand that the competition is still just competition. And as long as they understand that, then they're going to be just fine. And then I think after the first jump, most of them, the jitters are gone, and then they can focus on the job at hand.
The LSC preseason polls were announced this week for both baseball and for softball. The Texans softball team checked in at number 6 in the preseason polls, and the baseball team is tabbed to finish 3rd. Surely they will finish better than that, though.
I'm sure they will, Travis. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Texan Sports Minute. Join us next week for more up-to-date Tarleton sports news and interviews with TSU players and coaches. Until next time, Tarleton.